Hi, this is Kevin Purcell for Notebooks.com, and today I want to show you a really cool product that I have been testing for the last couple of weeks. It is the iHome portable audio device for your iPhone or iPod Touch, or really any iPod for that matter. And the thing that sets this apart is you'll notice that there are no wires hooked up, and that is because it is truly portable in that it has a rechargeable battery inside. So you can actually take it out on the road and you could plug in your iPhone or your iPod Touch or older generation iPod into it, and it will power the iPod, or it'll power the speakers with the battery so that you can listen to it. What you do is you push in on this little dock connector, and then you can slide in your iPhone. Now, notice that from the beginning I've got my iPhone in my Griffin Reveal audio case. Now, immediately, as you see, it says this accessory is not optimized for this iPhone. The real problem is when you have it in a case like this, it doesn't get a really good connection to the dock connector. And when that happens, unfortunately, what you have to do is take off the case, which is what I'm doing right now. And then when you slide it on, it usually will work after that. Of course, I don't have the power on.
Audible.com/Windows. Thank you so much.
And I've been listening to a podcast, one of the Twit podcasts from Leo Laporte. I'll show you some music. Casting Crowns is one of my favorite Christian rock groups. I'm not sure how well that sound goes through the speaker or the microphone on my little camera here, but as you can see, it gets really good sound. For where I am, it sounds great, to be honest with you. As you're playing the sound, up here on the top of the device, you'll notice this SRS button. Basically what that does is that gives you a bass boost and makes the sound a lot deeper and richer, a lot more full. I think it adds a lot to it. I'm not an audiophile, so I'm not going to begin to say that my old 40-year-old ears with some slight hearing loss in one ear is a really good test for this. But to me, the speakers sound really good. Depending on what kind of music you listen to. Really, I haven't listened to anything that sounded bad yet. Now, I listen to a lot of spoken word content, and with the bass boost on, that spoken word content doesn't sound as good. But you'll notice that I've got my iPhone 4 in this, and I've had a few difficulties with it. As I already mentioned, when you have the case on your phone, you might have some difficulties, so it's best to take your case off. On occasion, it has shown me that error even when I didn't have the case. iHome Audio tells you to simply reboot your iPhone, and it should work after that. And in almost every in every circumstance, when I've had that trouble rebooting my iPhone, by simply holding down the power button until it gives you the slider, the red slider, to shut down, and then restarting it has fixed the problem. So that's taken care of it. My sons have iPod Touches. And in both cases, each of their iPod Touches worked fine. I haven't tested it with an older iPod yet because we don't have any of those anymore. But I'm assuming that since it worked fine with the iPod Touch, works really well with the iPhone, that it'll work fine with any iPod that you throw at it. Let me just show you some of the features. Notice how, as it sits, it sort of leans back a little bit, and that way your phone or iPod won't fall off the front of it. And they put a nice little rubber bumper here in order to keep it from scraping against this plastic case on it. There are 4 speakers, 2 active and 2 passive speakers. Let me show you the buttons here on the top. When you turn it on, of course, there's your power indicator. Right now I have a full charge. The battery lasts a really long time. It takes a couple hours to charge up, and I think if my experience, if I remember right, it's been a couple of weeks since I did my initial test. It was about 7 or 8 hours of battery life, which is really good. This is the bass boost button, SRS bass boost, and then of course you have your volume buttons. This is one of the ways in which the iPhone sometimes doesn't work right with it. You plug it in, get the screen on so you can see it. Notice that as I turn up
another one-hit wonder with an axe to grind,
the volume,
another two-bit politician dead.
It controls the volume. So you use the buttons and it controls it. On occasion, not every time, but on occasion, my iPhone, the volume buttons did not control the volume slider, although the sound did go up and down. I'm not sure why that is. On the iPod Touch, it always worked. And so that's one thing to think about. Now notice I don't have any wires in right now. And when I plug in my iPhone, if you look very carefully, it is not charging my iPhone. And that is by design. It does not want you to drain the battery just charging your iPhone. It wants the battery to last long enough for you to get music. And so that's a real beneficial thing. I think that was smart engineering. Although I wish that somewhere there was a button or slider so that you could, if you really wanted to, charge it even when you weren't, even when it wasn't plugged in. But I've got the plug right here, so I will show you where you plugged it in. Let me go ahead and take my iPhone out. Notice here in the back that you plug it in, and if this had a low battery, it would start showing you that it was charging there. But once I put the IP46, that's the model number, by the way, is IP46. See there, instantly you see that it begins charging the iPhone, and it works well. When I was on a trip last week to Madison, Wisconsin, I used this as a charging station. I set it up on the table of the room that I was sleeping in each night. Left it plugged in, to be honest with you, because I didn't have a whole lot of time to take it with us to listen to music or anything. And I'd just come in at night, plop my iPhone down after taking the case off, and charge up my phone each night. Sometimes in the room at night I would listen to some music or podcast. Now on the back of the device, and again that you just push it in and it goes back in. You'll notice it has these stands. When I first open it up, if you're like me, when you get a new toy, you don't read the instructions right away. I didn't realize it comes in the box like this, and I didn't realize that it had these slide out feet on it. They're good, non-stick. They aren't rubber, but they don't slide too much. Also, you'll see on the back here there is a line in button, and that works well. The sound is just as good. Now that I have used it for a few weeks, I love it. I think this is just a really great device. It fits nicely in a computer bag. It is long. I wouldn't want to carry it around in a computer bag very often, but for those special occasions when you do want to use it, throwing it in your computer bag or throwing it in another book bag or something like that, it is small enough. It's not too heavy. One of the things I did want to show you is, I know it's just a power brick, no big deal, but simple little things are what make a device like this worth the extra money that you would pay. I think it's great. It is $99.95 retail price. You can find it for about $90 on Amazon. So I think it's well worth $90, $100. That's sort of the upper limit. I wouldn't pay much more than that for it. But at that price, it is, I think, a good value. I think it works great. It works as it's designed. And if you, like I said, if you're a very portable person, you like to carry out your music with you, it would work well. This has been Kevin Purcell for Notebooks.com with the iHome IP46.